What's up everyone, V here, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Star Wars The Black Series Clone Lieutenant, dear God, I want to say Galle? Gale? Whatever his name is, from Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. Yeah, I don't, if I can be honest, don't got a clue who this character is. I assume from his design and vague knowledge of Revenge of the Sith, he's one of the guys standing next to Bly when they just start popping. God, what's her name? Is that one Aya Sakura? Is that who that one is? The blue lady. When they're gunning down the blue lady, I assume it's Bly, and then like this guy. I thought this is just what his like regular troopers look like from what I saw in the movie, but apparently he has a name, and apparently it's like Gale, I don't know. But yeah, completely forgot this figure was being released. I found him because I believe he's in the same wave as this Anakin. Go check out that vid. But I saw him, and like I said in the Anakin vid, I was walking in Walmart. I don't even think I was looking for Black Series. I think I was looking for either like the Thing from Fantastic Four or the Studio Series Megatron. And I peeped him, and I was like, that looks really cool. I might get it. And I was thinking about it, I was like, you know what, I might pass up maybe another time. Then I saw the Anakin, and I was like, I'm 100% getting the Anakin. So I was like, you know what, I'm throwing him in there. And I'm glad I did, because he's really cool. Again, completely flew over my radar, because I'm not as up-to-date on, like, Black Series. I'm mostly up-to-date to Marvel Legends. A lot of the Black Series just go under my radar. And even if I am aware that they're being made, I don't know when they release. Again, I'm more up to date on Legends than I am Black Series. But yeah, this guy, really cool, really fun. Dare I say one of the best clone figures. For reasons I will get to in a minute. But before we get into him, we shall talk about the box. Because it's the regular Black Series, blah, 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 blah. Saying too many words with B in there. But yeah, I got number 3 in the line, Clone Lieutenant Galle. I'm going to call him Galle, because I don't know. Revenge of the Sith, the weird orange, tannish orange for Revenge of the Sith. Really cool shot of him. I do really like that artwork. I mean, I love the artwork on all these guys, but love me some clone artwork. Nothing there. Bigger picture on the back. Does have a bio, so we shall now know what the hell his deal is. Led by Clone Commander Bly and Jedi General Aya Sakura. I was right. The 327th Star Corps served the Grand Army of the Republic on worlds like, dear God, Quell, Meridian? That's not Meridian. Meridon and Felucia. Only know Felucia. So yeah, just Bly's trooper. One thing I am sad about the Clone Wars, I wish we got more Bly. I feel like we got one episode with Bly, and that was it. Like, I get it was focusing more on Anakin and Obi-Wan and Ahsoka and then their troops, specifically more Anakin and 501st, but I do wish we got a bit more of the other clone factions. That would have been really cool. Sadly not. But yeah, accessory-wise, you're seeing everything right now. There's not... comes with clone rifle that comes with, swear to God, every single clone that ever exists. Not the bigger one, though, which is interesting. Again, I feel like sometimes when it's a named character, you don't get all the guns. But yeah, just the regular clone rifle. Looks good. It's probably the same clone rifle that's come with every single goddamn clone since, like, the beginning of the line, probably. And then, of course, in the holster are 2 pistols. Look really nice. And of course, can be holstered. Not holstered, can be held in the hand. Looks good. And again, can holster it. Looks really good. And finally, for accessories, is the helmet. Because yes, can remove the helmet, and to nobody's surprise, Tamora Morrison Clone Trooper likeness. Same head sculpt, I believe. Yeah. Same head sculpt that's with, like, every clone figure, right? Oh, bug flying at me. The hell, bro? Get the hell out of here. Oh, brother, get. Oh, it's on me now. What the hell? Hell nah. Nah, we ain't rocking with that. Anyway. Same head sculpt that comes with every single clone figure. We're going to keep this clone to the side because there is something I very much want to talk about with this helmet. Notice anything different about it? Exactly. Unless you didn't notice anything, then I shall bring in our comparison boy. At least I am pretty sure, like 90% sure, they changed the clone heads. Oh, 100% now, getting them side by side. They changed the clone heads helmet sculpt for the Phase 2. Which I was not aware this figure was going to do. And I know there's a lot of hot takes on this clone helmet. Because when it was made, it started with a Clone Wars figure. And I feel like they oddly made like a weird blend of live action and Clone Wars with the Phase 2 design. Because the Phase 1 helmet looks perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Looks exactly like it does in Phase 2. In Phase 1. But for some reason, Phase 2 always had a weird mesh with the Clone Wars. Because if you bring in a figure before the new clone mold, aka Bly, you'll notice that this is how it looks, spitting image from Revenge of the Sith. But then this one, you can definitely see the more Clone Wars with, like, the head, how the brow, you don't get, like, the gap of white. But for this one, whole other helmet sculpt, and it looks so much better. It looks way more like this head sculpt. Granted, it's not going to be perfect because it is a removable head, but it completely took me out of the blue. And now I'm like, well, damn, now we need every figure that they've made using this Phase 2 helmet remade on this new helmet. They keep improving this figure, but then it's like, damn, we need all the figures that were used with this on the new mold now. Completely took me by surprise and really exciting, because even though this one didn't bother me the same way it bothered a lot of people, I still was in agreement that it should be more accurate. Why is it not 100% accurate when they can make 100% accurate helmets before? And that is where I will agree the Phase 1 troopers look so much better, because their helmet looked more like the actual helmet from the movies. So actually having like a proper like live action Phase 2 helmet that looks like it and is removable is really hype. And I hope to God they don't do what they did, because when they introduced this mold, they still kind of went back and forth between the older mold for a couple of the figures. I hope we don't have that same case here. I hope we use this helmet on every future clone figure, because it looks great. And then this helmet looking great in tune makes this figure so much better and so much cooler than a lot of those Phase 2 figures, because it's actually accurate. And also, isn't this technically what a live action Captain Rex, not helmet wise, but like should look like? Because realistically, this is what the Kama and Pauldron should look like for Phase 2. So yeah, it would be cool to see, like, deck this out in a Captain Rex look. Wouldn't be too hard, because again, this is a separate piece. You could probably put it onto like that phase 1 Rex we got. You'd really have to work with the helmet though. But anyway, so yeah, this new helmet already gives so many more points to this figure. But the figure itself is really good because, again, it's just this clone mold minus this helmet, but with a bunch of added stuff and a new paint job. And this clone mold is, again, aside from the helmet, is peak. And I have talked about it to death in multiple videos. I made a lot of clone vids. And I love that. I love this mold. So great. And it's so great to see it with a proper good helmet. And taking a look at that helmet, just look at that. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Stripes a little misaligned, but it's nice. And one thing I will say that bothered me the most is how thick the mouth was. Because it'd be like really thick, and then a lot of time the paint would splotch. When in Revenge of the Sith, and honestly I think all the live action ones, they have really thin mouths. And I'm glad that's captured here. Looks really good all the way around. And of course, again, is removable. And you get a decent... Actually, this one oddly looks really good to more Morrison likeness with the crew cut. Plop the helmet back on. Doesn't look too oversized either. You got the nice pauldron, which looks really cool. Hopefully we do get a more modernized Bly. Not that this Bly is bad. This Bly is really good, but it does look a bit odd next to figures on the newer mold. And again, it wouldn't be too hard. Just add a visor and repaint it and then remold that, and that's it. But yeah, looks really good, and it does tuck down underneath. I believe it is glued there as well. And then you just got the nice mustard yellow of the 327th Star Corps. Why? Anyone who knows the lore more than me, because I love me some Star Wars love, especially the Clone Wars era, I am not as familiar with the Legions. Is there a reason why they're specified Star Corps, while the other ones like 501st, 212th are just that, the number? Why are they specified as Star Corps? And is it because they have the decked out gear? I don't know. Again, it might have been explained in the show, but it's been a minute since I've rewatched Clone Wars. But yeah, they got the nice stripes. One thing I will say, they did the little chipping throughout it. Really huge here. I don't mind a few chips here and there, but something that big when the rest of him isn't weathered. Really hate it. It's kind of how I feel about Cody, where it's literally just his chest that's weathered and nothing else. I don't like weathering, so I would much rather have a clean clone. And again, if you are going to do weathering, just a couple chips here and there in the paint. What the hell is this? Not a fan of that, but, you know, not too bad. Looks really good. Cloth goods oddly sit a little strange. I feel like the holsters sit really in, and then the camo sits behind it, when it should, I feel like... Actually, I don't think his is perfect either. But it is a cloth camo. Again, I'm more of a plastic guy just because I feel like cloth does not sit well at all at this scale. But doesn't look too bad. And again, just regular clone armor. Nothing to drive home about. The real star of the show here is that new head. And also just look, because it's cool. It's a cool design. You know, I love when the clone designs are a bit unique, especially for the troopers. Again, might be wrong. Isn't this pretty sure it's what the basic trooper for this Legion looks like, right? So it is cool when they actually have more stuff going on besides just this, but with like blue, you know? Anyway, this gear does hinder him articulation-wise, because he's got dumbbell at the head and neck, and with shoulders... With like the shoulder pad and helmet, this is the best you're going to get. And then arm moves out that far, rotates, because again, this does go up a bit, but still kind of gets in the way, but not too much. Bicep swivel, single jointed elbow with rotation, I believe, but you're not going to need that. rotation and up and down at both of the hands. We'd love to see it for clones. Diaphragm, this is a rubbery piece, so it kind of gets out of the way, but not too much. And then, we all know it, you're not going to get much articulation here. It can kind of go forward, kind of go back, kind of do the splits. I'd be careful with the camera because it feels like it keeps wanting to drift down. Thigh rotation, single jointed elbow, knee with rotation, then up and down at the ankle with a rocker. And also they painted it gray. So yeah, pretty solid articulation for a clone. I mean, it's literally just this figure, but with camo, shoulder pad, new helmet. But yeah, clones, I feel like, again, when they designed the clone armor, they were just like, let's make something cool as hell, and then, but, like, not practical. So, this is, again, the best articulation you're gonna get with all of this going on. But anyway, how big is he? You know, how big? How big is he? How big is Galle? Well, let's find out. Here he is next to a Marvel Legends and a Transformers. Here he is next to the Marvel Legends Punisher, who I'll be making a vid in the future of. And here he is next to, most likely, the previous review. I'm recording both of them in the same night. It depends on who I upload first. The Studio Series Scrapper. Voyager class, although he is a tad small. For once, the, like, Black Series is actually taller than someone. And for 7-inch scale, here he is next to the DC McFarlane Superman and the Jazzwares Halo CE Master Chief. And for some, like, Star Wars fun, here he is next to I was going to say previous review, and then I instantly remembered that I said Scrapper was probably the previous review. But one of the last Black Series review, the Anakin, the aforementioned clone, and bringing in a couple more clone commanders. Here he is next to Cody and Neo. Not an official figure, I would like to mention. It is a AliExpress knockoff. And finally, Bly. Would love to see an updated Bly on this mold. Would be really cool. Again, not that this Bly figure is bad. This Bly figure is really good. It's just, figures on that mold don't match the figures on this mold anymore, and it gets to me. I would like all the clones to look like they're wearing the same armor, you know what I mean? Just personal peeve of mine. But do I recommend Clone Lieutenant Galle? Absolutely. Really fun I mean, it's a clone figure. You don't mess with clone figures. I mean, this mold has been peak since its release. But this, not the best one. I don't know which one I would crown as the best clone. But he is up there. Especially with this helmet. Hoping to see this helmet again in the future on every single clone. Definitely recommend. Solid, I would say 7, 8 out of 10. Really fun figure. Again, it's a clone. Love me a clone. Definitely recommend it. Anyway, like, subscribe, check out my previous reviews. Gonna be a lot of Transformers because I'm doing the Constructicons, but there are a decent amount of Black Series. Not too much. I'm getting back into Black Series. It's been I kind of was just strictly doing Legends. I'm coming back to Black Series. But anyway, that's about it. Hopefully you have a wonderful day. And let me know if it's pronounced Galle or Gale. I genuinely have no clue. I could look it up. I could, but also I don't really want to. Anyway, have a good day and peace.